Good evening, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Regional News. I am Antonio D. We begin with news in Brazil. Brazilian President Lula da Silva criticizes U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean, citing strain that could threaten regional peace. The South American leader expressed concern on Monday over the concentration on U.S. forces seen by some as a possible prelude to an attack on Venezuela. The presence of the armed forces of the largest power in the Caribbean is a factor of tension, Lula said during the opening of a virtual BRICS summit. The U.S. has said its military forces are in the region to counter drug trafficking, but the deployment has been paired with U.S. threats against the government of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, whom U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has accused of being closely linked with drug trafficking groups. The Trump administration has provided no evidence for those claims and has often used vague allegations of connections to drug trafficking or criminal groups to justify extraordinary measures both at home and abroad. Last week, the U.S. carried out an unprecedented lethal attack on what the Trump administration said was a boat transporting drugs from Venezuela. Analysts have said that the extrajudicial strike, which killed 11 people, was likely illegal, but U.S. officials have promised to carry out more attacks in the region. Maduro has said that the deployment is part of an effort to depose his government and called on the military and civilians to make preparations for a possible strike. As the Trump administration takes aggressive steps to advance its priorities on issues such as trade, immigration, and drug trafficking, some countries are seeking to bolster ties with powers like China. Addressing the virtual BRICS conference via video call on Monday, Chinese President Xi Jinping called for more cooperation in areas such as technology, finance, and trade, according to the official Chinese news agency Xinhua. Officials from India, a country like Brazil and China that has become a recent target of the Trump administration's severe tariff policies, also called for greater collaboration. The virtual conference took place a week after leaders from China, Russia, India, and other Eurasian nations gathered in Tianjin, China, where they presented a vision for a new international order at a moment of widening rifts between partner nations and the United States. Continuing with news in the region, the Inter-American Development Bank on Monday announced a historic commitment of an estimated $2.5 billion in loans for the next 3 years to strengthen citizen security in Latin America and the Caribbean. It said that the project would focus on promoting community protection, strengthening institutions, and curbing illicit financing. Announced at the Regional Security and Justice Summit organized by the IDB and Argentina's Ministry of National Security, it brought together security and justice authorities, international partners, civil society, and experts for regional dialogue and cooperation. This is the second regional meeting since last year's launch of the Alliance for Security, Justice, and Development in Ecuador. The IDB said that the new task force is a permanent mechanism that can be activated when countries face sudden crises, whether an increase in violence, a surge in human trafficking, or institutional vulnerabilities, to provide advisory teams and short-term action plans to help governments coordinate police prosecutors, prison systems, and other institutions when they need it most. In addition, the IDB is streamlining the preparation and approval processes for technical cooperation projects to support countries more quickly. The new processes will allow technical cooperation for security emergencies to be prepared and approved within 15 days. And finally, in Suriname, according to President Jennifer Gilling Simons, her administration is working to boost foreign exchange profits from the gold industry and intends to meet with industry participants the following week. President Gilling Simons said that the exchange rate appreciation was already visible before the elections and that this trend was accelerated by the significant government spending during the election campaign. We are still seeing pressure on the exchange rate. We know that the government spent a lot of Surinamese money on elections. That always puts pressure on the exchange rate. You can counter that pressure somewhat with a few measures, But that's where the pressure on the exchange rate comes from, she said. President Gierling Simons said that increasing the central bank's foreign exchange reserves is crucial to reducing pressure on the exchange rate and improving economic stability. She reiterated that the gold sector plays a vital role in this offering an immediate opportunity to improve the economic situation in the short term. The head of state noted that revenues from the gold sector, particularly from the small-scale gold mining, have declined significantly in recent years. The gold that leaves the country never returns. That is why Suriname must benefit from every amount of gold that is mined and exported, said Gierling Simons. Thank you for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now.